What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bring you guys another bar-for-bar review from King of the Dot Massacre 6. This time it is Frak versus JJDD, as you can see by the title, which I meant to have out yesterday. I'm gonna be honest, I was tired as hell. So then you get this today. You might get Rex and Chilla too. That'll be the last one if I end up doing it. But like I said, this was one of the battles before the event that I said was going to be great. In my opinion, it's up there, if not flat out the battle of the night from the event. It is between this and Rock and K. And it's an angle fest. There's a bunch of details, a bunch of approaches, and a bunch of things to talk about. And I also believe that it is a debatable battle. I still hold that belief even after the rewatch. But without further ado, let's get into the first round. So first round of the battle starts out on John, and something he mentioned even right after the battle, and something that for how strategy-based we knew the matchup is, we could have expected. And he counter-wrote, since he's rapping first, he gets to the Holocaust denial angle first, which we knew is something that would be used against him in this battle. And goes into the, I think the Holocaust, obviously I think the Holocaust is real, but burning 1 million bodies in one camp, like he still questioned a part of it, classic John fashion. Then ends it with, I apologize to anyone I offended, but not you. So kind of like a good, it does take the steam out of it getting to the angle first. Not fully, you know what I'm saying, but I do think strategically it was a very good move. I took the L to surf, just like both of us. Our elders fell victim to gas. I thought that was cool. You condescending, so I'm condescending. You to your maker. The condescending wordplay I thought was dope too. Shine shouldn't be a problem for no Jews. I thought that was cool. And then he has this, I thought this was one of the more clever name flips of the battle, but particularly from John. If you're friends with Fracture, probably broke two. The Fracture broke two. He had the panda bar, it was like black and white, panda to us. I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. And then refers to his Jack Boy main performance. He does it for 2 bars here at the end. I already made a moment off exposing Jews, and listen, we're going to get a lot of Jewish bars. Like, we knew we'd get a lot in this battle, but we're going to get a lot as we go on. The House Jew bar, I thought, that was okay too. It gets a little bit repetitive in this first round. Then talks about I'm gonna knock him out. Look at me dropping Jews again. So Jew. The whole first round for the most part is Jewish bars. I do think that the counter writing is something that helped him. It's not going to help him directly in this first, but it is going to play a factor into the battle. I do believe there's some good pieces set up here in the first by John, even though bar for bar, I do not think by any means it's his best round of the battle. And then you go to Frak. He is the don't say to John if you ain't saying it twice. And he's like, well, what up, John? Kind of playing to saying it once, right? So a little bit of comedy there in the opener. He is the shining. Here's Johnny bar after. I didn't actually feel like that one landed too well. Philly slang, Philly slang, they use John for everything. I actually thought that was pretty clever. Godfather, the Don died in his own backyard. I thought that was pretty clever. And I actually think this first is Frak's best round. You're not a legend because you beat beginners, which is kind of the angle we've heard a few people play up to, although John has beat a litany of top-tier battle rappers throughout his career. But, people focus on, you have your best wins when you beat Jack, you beat Prep, you beat Wavy. I'm sure you've heard this a million times over. And ends the angle with, they paid John Doe to kill no names. John Doe, no name. I thought that was a haymaker. So I thought that he built that angle up perfectly. Then talking about John stealing everything down other battlers' mannerisms. Even when John Hancock, that's someone else's signature move. I thought that was pretty cool. I've heard a lot of John Hancock bars. And to be honest, both sides of this battle, I feel like you're going to hear like outdated complaints. I feel like both of them are relatively, John has some real moments out here that are rough, but both of them had some bars like that. But I still thought the John Hancock bar was cool. He came through Boston to steal slogans. He's Jason Tatum. As a Celtics fan, I don't respect it. Bar was cool, but I'm not fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? Then he ends with really the only part of his round that I felt took away. Because if he actually cut after the Jason Tatum bar, I'd go as far to say that it's a clear round for Frak. I'm still giving Frak the first, but he's this John impression, talking about remixing. You know, he didn't steal it, he remixed it. And I get what he was trying to do, but I thought it was a little bit of a cringy ending to his first round. And for many people, I think that actually made the round debatable. I think the way he ended it kind of took away a little bit, but it's still content-wise, I thought he had the better punches. I really like the John Doe Kill No Names bar. It's probably my favorite bar of either of the rounds. It was just a little bit more consistent within. So I did have Frak, as many others did, 1-0 going into the second. From there, you get into the second round of the battle. And the way I'm going to say this, John's second is not only his best round of the battle, I do believe John's second is like the peak of the battle. I do believe it is the best round. And he starts out once again angling. And this time it's, you know, you can't compare the Holocaust to slavery, which I thought was a clever way to open approach-wise. And then from there it goes into the we're the original Jews, so y'all not like us. Kendrick not like us. I thought that was a good wraparound angle. I know that this and the joke kind of he gets into after, where he's like, you're not Jew, you're just Jewish. I thought that was funny, and people were referring to a lot in the second through the battle, right? Because since he has a lot of bars that I will say have been said before, right? There's people saying he bit this and he bit that. I don't think that's a bite. I think he was pretty original about the way he went in the beginning of this round. And then the next two haymakers we specifically got to talk about, because I've seen people really get at these. And he had the knock down your mother, father, and they're even going to have to get your anti-Semitics. I like that. I think long time ago, it was the anti-Semitics bar, and it was R Streets versus Mac Mel. I heard it forever ago. And both bars are fire. They're used differently, different level of wordplay. And I just see people like, listen, there's nobody that's more critical of outdated bars. You see me bring that up a lot on this channel. Maybe more than you even hear other people bring it up, because I have a mind that remembers, you know what I'm saying, the repeated bars. But it's one thing when we have defeat bars, and what I will say, some of the bars. I mean, you heard me even critique John in the first, but I thought the anti-Semitics bar is fire. I think people are reaching, and it's tailored. And then he has the swastika haymaker. Now this one I still think is fire. Used it in a different way than many people remember how Nitty used it versus Geechee, but I do think it is one of those where, like, I understand that bar has been said, and it's like very known. It's a very popular and quotable pocket from Rum Nitty. So while it blew the room up and it was the biggest haymaker in there, I still think it's a good bar, but I do understand people's complaints with that one. I mean, we know it's like when Av had the iron low, like, I'm anemic bar. Like, some bars, like, we know to the extent you just got to know to leave that one alone. But even then, that's still a strong first half to his second. And then he gets in the EBT don't work, so I still needed a reason to snap. I thought that was dope. And then let's say you didn't like those haymakers earlier. How about the one with the if I put him down with black eyes, he'll know what it, and he still won't know what it's like to be woke. I thought that bar was fire, super creative. Then he has the whole Nick Cannon this and this for being anti-Semitic, but now Frak's on his show. Would you look at that? He did a lot of like Jew wordplay, and they just blew up for it. I think that's just momentum carrying over. I didn't think like the bar was all that. I didn't think it was like ass, but I didn't think it was like all that crazy. The Kyrie handle rest bar I thought was dope. And then he had the Bruce Lee's son died on set. But I think you're still gonna have a hard time. So how are you gonna branding death? Like Frak died, how are you gonna brand yourself after? And then obviously Brandon Lee passing away on the Crow set. So I thought that was pretty creative too. And then the makeup scheme I thought was cool. You know what I'm saying? We've heard a lot of those. And then the angle of the Nick Cannon to close this round. It didn't really end in a bomb, but once again, it's a war of approaches. You know what I'm saying? The optics, the different topics brought up. And I thought John second, you know, albeit there's going to be some critique that you've heard a couple of those bars before, right? And the people that don't like John are going to say, oh, he stole it right out of the footage, you know, but I still think it was high power. Even if you didn't like one or two, there's other haymakers that you could, you know what I'm saying, still acknowledge. And I thought approach-wise, he took some of his best angles in this second. So I'm a huge fan of John second in this battle. I think I think this is a really good battle. So I think Frak's second is still good too. It kind of peaked in the beginning with the Wild and Out rebuttal. I auditioned 4 times, so just like Nick Cannon, I've never pulled out once in my life. That was a haymaker. He had the Kyrie can't cross over in Boston. The vaccine can't cross over in Boston shit. So I thought the haymaker, I thought the rebuttals were actually really good. But from there, he has the angle about John saying versus Big K. You said you were watching Big K versus O Red while getting slow head, which that happened. It was a very pause-worthy moment. So kind of angles on that, like, nah, baby, all I need is SM2. So I thought that was funny. Nothing too crazy, but I thought it was comedic. And then another good angle, a battle full of good angles. You think life is battle rap, and you went on with it for a while, but I think the best punch out of it was your career. You're mad at me saying I can only battle on one battle rap stage, while your career is still at its battle rap stage. With Frak kind of being able to level up now that he's on Wild Now, doing other ventures outside of battle rap, he is able to kind of talk that talk a little bit. So I like that bar. He had the Sonic bar after that I thought was dope too. And then he has two more angles here to end it that he was in and out of pretty quick. You use gossip, angles versus T-Top versus Easy. Sam Adams, he just came to Boston to spill tea. I thought that was cool. And then he has probably my least favorite angle of his second. Why are you saying Drake won? Like this angle about battle rappers saying Drake won when he didn't, and then flipped it into a Adonis punch, Drake's son. So solid round, but even in just quoting the bars, I feel like I said, you could take a bar or two away from John Johns if you want to be that critical, and I still think he very clearly won this second round, making it 1-1 going into the third. And then you have the third round of this battle, which, I watched it the first time I had Frak live, right? I really liked the way he ended this round. I had Frak edging the third. On the rewatch, I had John John, so I gave it one more rewatch, and I can say, which makes sense for the first two ways I called it, the third is close. And, there will be voting polls and battlers demanding, like I think John John said, if you don't give me this win, that just means that you're just trying to make your predictions look right or some shit. No, it's a very good and debatable battle. But when you break it down bar for bar, we have a ton of angles to talk about again. We have John John with the Jordan Holloway angle, which I hadn't actually heard up to this point. I saw some people saying like Frak had addressed this in old battles. Maybe that's towards like beginning like GZ era of his career maybe, but something about Frak making a fake Facebook profile where he's a black guy. And then from there, he's the sneaker release bar from it, which is cool. And then he has the, what do catfish fear? Real lines. So real lines, real lines. So, even for me where the angle is like, I can't 100%, verify the angle. You can't do that for a lot of angles. I thought it wasn't crazy executed, but he did get some good punches out of it. Then he has the Jordan Peele get out bar, still referring to that angle. So I thought that was pretty solid. He's the Cadillac Ron smack and Frak angle, which, Cadillac Ron did back in the day, slap Frak in the middle of a battle. You already lost to Smack Raps, Smack White. He had a few different flips out of that I thought was pretty clever too. Definitely, here it's less about, he went with all the Jewish material in the first two rounds, and it feels like here he actually doesn't have much of it at all in the third. He has a multiple choice bar after that I thought was cool, and then the best bar of his third round, he is the, apparently Frak, gets frisky when he's off the drugs or something like that. So all you have to do is give a E to Frak to bring the freak out on him. I actually thought the way he executed it, and John John loves doing this now. This is, if you've seen, he does this move quite a lot. No problem with it. It's just something I did notice, but great haymaker there. And then on your tombstone, it's going to say, I think it was something cheater. You ain't rep the Bay right. Rep, the Bay Area right. So John John's third, I saw some people saying, oh, he wrote uphill. His third, no way in hell it's better than his second. I think his third is better than his first. I think it's a good round, but I do not think it's better than his second, which, like I said, peak of the battle for me. And then that leaves it to Frak. And I got to say, the first half of Frak's round, he picked some angles of his own here, kind of bad bars, going over some of John John's bad bars, particularly the I bet your legs, Wimbledon. Wimble isn't a word. It never was a word. And he does a couple times play off that Wimble joke in this round. He does it later in the round as well. So pretty funny. From there, then he has going at bullpen, breaking down John John's scandalous business activity running bullpen, and then turns that into a Houston Astros, trash in the bullpen bar. For those that watch baseball know that the Houston Astros cheated, hitting the trash cans for the signals, the pitch signals. I thought that was pretty dope. And then finally, late in his third, Frak gets into the denying Holocaust angle, which, John John had already gotten to really early in the battle. And I do think it does take away from it because he did it so late in the battle from where it was first brought up. I mean, Maybe there was round change difference. I don't know. Maybe even with the counter writing, I think it's something you lead off in the first with. What do I know? I don't fucking battle rap. You know what I'm saying? I just watch it a lot. But I did think some of the steam was taken out with how late in the battle it was brought up. But from there, he kind of jokes at him, gets sarcastic, like it was fake. It was CGI, which is not even a bar. That was funny as hell to me in general. And leads that it's mostly joking, to be honest, through this until it leads up to the Jews even control the weather. We got a tsunami to kill you. I feel like whenever it comes to JC or John, there's always a haymaker about Surf winning the battle against them. It just seems like a free one on the bingo slot that people keep checking when they battle him. And ironically, it's also probably the best bar of Frak's third here. From there, he calls him Quainon to Don. Absolutely hilarious. And then a couple bars at the end. You talking about they were putting my people in the oven, and that's when I Papa John. Thought that was cool. And then a clever bar here. My ancestors were like Lil Yachty. They took the walk to Poland. Y'all remember the walk to Poland, and then obviously the walk to Poland. So I thought that was even a pretty clever bar to end his third round. But if you kind of hear me say it, this is where the strategy plays in from the beginning. Because like I said, I did feel like there was kind of some steam brought out of that Holocaust annihilating by the time that Frak got to it. Although, like I said, still landed a couple cool bars out of it. And I think he still leaned heavily on the comedy this round, like heavy. And I feel like those last 2 to 3 punches are actually where the bulk of his round comes from. While in the beginning, he had some angles that I thought he worked through well. And it's just that first third doesn't attack to me, the first half of his third, the way that I feel like John is really at him for all of his third. I still think it's debatable because even with that, there's some preference in there, right? Because there is some people that still see the approach as kind of belittling him, comedic, roasting him. But I preferred that more, I can't say more tailored because they're both tailored, but in my opinion, the more impactful and attacking third round from John. So I think it is still very debatable, but I do still edge John that third round of the battle, giving him the battle 2-1, second and third. But that is my full review here for Frak versus John to Don. Like I said, I think it has just as fair of a case as KN Rock for Battle of the Night and Battle of the Weekend. I understand for impact reasons why KN Rock is getting the shine it has. It is more important to our culture overall, but quality-wise, bar for bar-wise, chess match wise, you know what I'm saying? All elements of battle rap, I think Frak and John is right there with it, even while being probably like half the length, you know what I'm saying, to rewatch the battle. But I want to hear your guys' opinions on it. Who did you have winning? Because I feel like with these two battles, they are extremely debatable because the truth is they're extremely preferential. There's huge differences in the way that John and Frak approach this battle, what they use. I mean, they all use the full skill set of battle rap, but what they use at their best, obviously what they're great at is different. Same goes for Rock and K, so I'm expecting forever to hear debates about either of these battles, but how do you think I called it? What are some of your peaks of the battle, some of your critiques? I would love to hear in the comment section down below. Like I said, if I am going to be doing any more reviews for this, you'll probably get T-Rex and Chilla, but then that'll be it for Mass 6, and then we'll move on to looking towards Nexus, the next Nexus card for URL, which is a good card in itself. Av versus Chef Trez is the main event. I have a lot of thoughts on that. So once the King of the Dot stuff is done, that is probably the next video you'll be seeing from me. But it's been J Small Reviews again, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.